And if you are Italian, I am sorry. I apologize in advance. Hi everyone, my name is Mina. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the video. This is exciting. The lasagna recipe is done. It's here. And if you are Italian, I am sorry. I apologize in advance. This is not authentic lasagna by any means. I'm not calling it Italian. This is Mina's anabolic lasagna. Don't come at me. If you guys don't know, this was a suggestion that was suggested to me by a comment. So you guys suggested, I will make it happen. I will make it into an anabolic recipe. So we turned this into a low calorie, high protein version of the real thing. And yes, this is still delicious. If you serve this up at the next dinner party, no one can tell this is anabolic. So if you have a food that you want to see turned into an anabolic version, or at least into a lower calorie, high protein version of it, drop a comment below. Let me know what that food is. I already have a list of foods that I'm working on that I all got from the comments mainly. The next one is actually really exciting, and I think this is going to be great. It's going to be really cool. So put it in the comments. I will make it happen. So lasagna has three main components: noodles, meat sauce, and the ricotta filling. So let's go over the ingredients real quick. I have everything on the screen and in the description, but I just want to mention a few things. So the pasta, we're using a whole grain pasta. It's high in fiber, low in calories, and it tastes exactly like the real thing. You can't tell the difference at all. The tomato sauce, we're using plain crushed tomatoes. Don't get any of the stuff that comes in a jar. It has a lot of sugar, a lot of calories. This has only 15 calories per serving. So get plain crushed tomatoes. That's all we need. We're also going to use an onion and 2 cloves of garlic in there to make the meat sauce. The macros for the recipe here are calculated for lean 97% ground turkey. I screwed up. I somehow bought 85% lean. I don't even know where they get that much fat in turkey. Ricotta filling, we're using part skim ricotta. You can use the fat-free stuff, but it doesn't taste that good. So I went with the part skim. We can make the macros here work. Also for the filling, we're gonna use 2 kinds of cheese. I used Parmesan and Gran Padano. So you can just use Parmesan. Don't get the stuff that's in a jar. That's also not good. We're gonna use some fat-free cheese, mozzarella cheese for the top, and fresh parsley and some dried herbs that I have on the screen. And also a pan. Let's do a quick lesson on how to dice an onion. You're gonna chop the 2 ends off, cut it in half, then peel the outer, either first 1 or the first 2 layers, depending on how thick they are. Then we're gonna make horizontal cuts in the onion. 3 cuts should be enough. And we're gonna make vertical cuts now, the same width as the horizontal cuts. Then turn it around and dice it, and keep your fingers out of the way. When you get to the end of the onion, chop around the root and you'll get the dice out of it so you don't waste it. We have nicely chopped onions, not too big, not too small. We're gonna cut the garlic in the same way. So chop the root off, peel away the skin, and then we're gonna do the same exact method. So we're gonna make horizontal cuts, and I don't think I need to say this, but please be careful when you do this. It's very small, you can cut yourself easily. Then we're gonna do vertical cuts. So it should look something like this. And then we're just gonna give it a chop, and that's what you would call a mince. It should be pretty small because we don't want any big garlic chunks in there. It's not nice. Unless you're into that, then who am I to judge? For maximum efficiency, you want 2 pots, 1 for the pasta, 1 for the meat sauce. The pasta water needs a lot of salt because this is the only chance to season the pasta. Meat sauce, we're gonna start with some cooking spray. You're gonna put the onion and the garlic that we cut earlier. Of course, season everything, salt and pepper. You want the heat on like medium to high. We want to brown them just a little bit before we put the turkey in there. Once they're almost done about that color, push them off to the side, and put the turkey in there. And it's really important here that you break up all the turkey. I spent a lot of time here trying to break up all this turkey so it's not in big chunks. This is one part where you can't really have it in chunks because it's going to be really hard to build the lasagna later on. After you break it up for a little bit, now it's a good chance to season the meat with some salt and pepper. And use a good amount of salt and pepper. And then you can go back to breaking it all up. When the meat is just about cooked, pour in 2 cups of sauce. Then in the same container, we're going to use a cup to a cup and a half of water. Now the dry herbs, we're going to go first with basil. And the amounts that you use here is really up to you. There's no wrong answer. Some oregano. And this is a good thing to use in any sauce that you make. Bay leaves. I'm just going to use 2 in there. Just remember that you have 2 and you have to take them out. So always count how many bay leaves you put in there and remember to take them out when you're done. So we want to let the sauce cook for at least half an hour, if not for longer, but half an hour is the minimum. While the sauce is cooking, we're going to boil the lasagna. The lasagna sheets, according to the box, they boil for about 10 minutes. So plan accordingly for that. And I like to use this pot and just bend them slightly. Be careful not to break them. It's not a big deal if you break them. You can still assemble the lasagna just fine. It's just not going to look as pretty. After the 10 minutes, take them out, line them out on a sheet tray. And they don't really stick together, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, so we want to be as efficient as we can. So we have the meat sauce on the stove, the lasagna noodles are cooling, so now we make the ricotta filling. And that's my brother in the background for anyone wondering. So we're going to take the stems out of the parsley and then chop it as finely as you can. Watch your fingers. I'm not really sure why I chose to include this clip, but just enjoy me struggling to open up this container of ricotta. I even had to bring in my knife. Oh my god. Eventually, I got it open. So I'm using a scale here. Of course, use your scale. We're gonna use half of the cheese in here, and then the other half is going to go on top. We're also going to season the ricotta with salt and pepper and some garlic powder. I used plenty in there. And we're going to put all that parsley. Give it all a mix. So it also helps if the meat sauce is cool. It helps you to spread it on. We have everything now ready, and it's time to assemble this thing. There's a specific way that if you follow it, it's going to make this extremely easy on you. The best way to do this is to split the sauce into 4, the noodles into 3, and the cheese into 2. When you put all the layers together, it should look like this, with the sauce, noodles, and the ricotta alternating, and then at the end on top, we're going to have the mozzarella and the rest of the Parmesan cheese. Now, don't worry if the lasagna sheets break up a little bit on you while you're doing this. It's absolutely normal. It's okay. Just try to put the broken pieces in the middle of it, not in the corner like I did here. So it's not a problem. It's all going to be stuck together anyway at the end. It's not a big deal. I didn't show this part on camera, but remember to take out the bay leaves that are in the meat sauce. You definitely don't want to accidentally leave those in the lasagna. It would just be a horrible experience for whoever gets to bite down on one of those things. The trickiest part about this is probably portioning out the meat sauce into 4 even parts. I usually use too much in the beginning and then I don't have enough left over at the end. So just something to keep in mind. That's what I usually struggle with, so learn from my mistakes. All right, last layer is going on, and then we have the cheese. And I'm gonna show you how I use the scale to weigh out my cheese. So I put the whole bag of cheese on the scale, and then I tear the scale. So now it says 0. Then I'm gonna take from the bag, and it'll show me how much I took in negative weight. This is a much easier way to use your scale. It just makes weighing things so much quicker. So try this out, let me know how it works for you. And by the time we're done with this thing, it was so heavy, it's like a few pounds. All right, now we're gonna cover it, cook it for half an hour while it's covered, then half an hour uncovered, then it needs to cool down for another half an hour. And what do we do while you're waiting? Of course, have a bowl of cereal. This is after half an hour. Now we're gonna take the foil off. Look at all that cheese. This is after half an hour without the foil. It's done. Look at those crispy edges. Oh yeah. So it's had some time to cool, and let's see if we can cut it into it or not. My little trusty paring knife, spatula ready. Edges are nice and crispy. I don't know about you, but I like crispy edges on my lasagna, so I get a corner piece. All right. Still a little bit warm, but that's okay. We can make this happen. Actually, it's perfect. Perfect temperature. Oh, look at that. So we're just gonna put some parsley and some Parmesan cheese on it. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. All right, so let's try this. I'm so excited about this. It's a little cold because I had to take a picture, so all the cheese isn't as melted. Again, it tastes so good. And that ricotta filling is amazing. I'm gonna save the crispy edges for last. So I know that I usually don't finish the food that I make, but this one for sure will be finished. I'm gonna have to go for seconds. This tray makes 9 serving. What I had right now was just a serving. Each serving has about 350 calories. I will have the calories, macros, everything on the screen. And do notice that the majority of the macros come from protein. Again, this is what we try to do. Low calorie, high protein. Low calorie, high protein. That's the theme of the channel. Don't judge me. The great thing about this though is you can have another piece, another piece, another piece, and you don't feel bad. Could probably eat about half this tray right now, but I will not do that because my macros for today allow for 2. That was really good. If you're going to do this, don't forget the Parmesan cheese. Don't forget the parsley. I know they may seem like small ingredients, but the difference they make is huge. So try it out for sure. If you do try out any of my recipes, be sure to tag me on Instagram and I will repost every post. If you have any suggestions for a dish you want to see turn into a low calorie, high protein version, drop a comment, let me know what it is. This was a suggestion made to me from a comment and I took it and then we made it happen. Now we have a recipe. If you made it this far into the video, if you liked the video, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't like it, let me know why you didn't like it. Leave a comment, just say something. Say hi, good morning, good afternoon. And more videos are coming, a lot more videos are coming, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.